Hi, I'm Lois Beres at KZGN-TV, and this is Ridgecrest Talk. And once again, I get to continue with Ridgecrest Talks to Remarkable People. My guest today is Bertha Ryan, and what a story she has to tell. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Glad you could be with me. Bertha is a jack of all trades. She's an engineer, she's a pilot, she's a soaring person, and a story that is just remarkable. Your first love was being a pilot, right? Or flying?
Yes.
And when did all this start?
Well, it started sort of when I was 3 years old.
So she's been a desire to have this for a long time.
My father stopped at an airport to show us an airplane, the first one we'd seen at all. Yeah, me and my 3 older brothers.
So I had this one little girl who was 3, and then she had 3 older brothers with her, and I think you were probably more impressed than the boys, did you?
I don't know. There was one that did join the Air Force later, so.
Oh, okay, so one of them might have been, but this was a kickoff for you.
That was when I decided I wanted to fly.
She's going to be a pilot. That's the word I'm looking for. And so what did you do during the rest of your prep time before you got ready to fly?
Well, I used to read a lot. I'd bring stacks of books home from the library, so I read all about pilots, and I learned that if you wanted to be in aviation, you had to study math.
Math.
And that was the only thing I knew about it, so I studied math.
All right. So from the get-go, you went into math at grammar school and on up.
Well, yes, when I could specialize in it. Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting. And then, when did you actually get into a plane?
Well, my brother that had joined the Air Force during World War II came home on leave on his way to the Pacific area of operations.
Okay.
And he knew I wanted to fly. And he decided that in spite of all the complications of gas rationing and no flying near the coast and no pleasure flying, he was going to arrange for me to fly. So we went to an airport, and I had my very first flight. I was 16.
Oh my gosh.
And I absolutely loved it.
You knew that's where you were going to be.
And it had to be instruction because there was no pleasure flying.
Because at that time there was no
it was during
pleasure
World
flying
War
at all,
II.
right?
Yeah, it was during World War II.
So she had her first lesson when she was 16. That's awesome. And then it took you a while. Did you continue at that same place to learn to fly? Or?
Yes,
okay.
I did, and I soloed in October of that year.
Oh, that's pretty quick.
Well, not really.
No?
No. I mean, it just takes 8 hours to solo, but
8 hours of flight time? But
yes,
you have ground school and a bunch of stuff.
Well, they didn't give me, it was
different
an
then?
unusual operation. They didn't give me ground school, and it was different. It was at the end of World War II, and it wasn't like it is today.
Okay. And you've got a funny story about...
And it rains a lot back there, too.
It rained a lot, so you had to work around rain?
Yeah, but they have lots of storms back east.
More than we have here. But there was a funny story about your solo. After your solo, the place where you soloed didn't...
Oh, the next day the airport closed and they built a prison.
Did you hear that? She was the pilot and she soloed, and then they closed down her airport and built a prison. So then you had to find somewhere else to go.
I had to find another airport.
Oh my gosh. Was there one close?
No, but I found a lady who was a Pan Am stewardess who was flying at an airport in a different place, so I could go with her. I couldn't drive, and I didn't have a car, so I mean there was no way I could get there.
She was flying and not, you couldn't even drive
public transportation or something. But I flew there, but it was a different kind of an airplane, so I had to learn to fly that one.
Was it like a big one with?
No, it was a small one. It was just a different brand.
Oh, okay.
But then I got all ready to solo again, and it was winter time. And we were on skis on the airplane, and so just as I went to take off, I got stuck in the snow.
Oh my gosh! So the plane itself was on skis?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! So you got stuck in the snow, so did they dig you out and let you go, or did you just...
No, it was...
You came back another day.
No, because the Pan Am stewardess got transferred, and I didn't have a ride there anymore.
Doggone. So you had to find another place.
So I found another place.
Oh, my golly. This lady's stick-to-itiveness. She was going to fly. Come all that stuff.
For reasons I won't go into, that one didn't work out so well.
Okay.
So finally I decided I should go to a place that had a good reputation for being a good school. And of course, because they had to have an okay from my mother.
Oh dear, okay.
Which she wouldn't give.
Really? Your dad would take you out, but not Mom?
My dad had died shortly after he showed me the airplane.
Oh, okay.
But the instructor that I was to have came out and persuaded her that it would be good for me to learn to fly.
I love it. That's great. So Mom went along with you a little bit, hesitantly?
Well, she signed for it so that I could take
good.
the lessons.
So you could go.
It was a good school. It was a reputable school, so I went.
And that was
straight ahead and got
where
the
you
license.
lived? You lived in Boston?
Yeah.
In the Boston area?
Yeah.
Wow.
I lived in Newton, and this airport that I finally went to, with that was at Norwood.
Okay. Now, to me, that means nothing, but you folks might know.
It's still there.
It's still there. All right. That's good. And you were escalating in what you were doing. Were you flying alone quite a bit, or?
Well, yeah, because after you have to learn to do different maneuvers and so forth, and then go practice them.
Okay. And you had to pay for all that?
Yeah.
How'd you do that? I mean...
Well, during World War II, I got a job at Raytheon testing and packing tubes.
Okay.
And I saved every penny for flying. But that had to have a special okay, too, because I was underage. But it was wartime, so they gave that kind of okay pretty easily.
We are down to a point where we're just about to go to a break, but I know that you were influenced by some of the early female aviators. And when we get back from break, I want you to tell me a little bit about some of those people, if you met them or if you knew about them and that sort of thing. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, so what we're going to do is go to break, and then we'll come back, and Bertha's going to tell us a little bit more about her adventures into flight. We'll be back in about a minute. And we are back with Lois and Bertha. And we got Bertha in the air, and she soloed, and now she's saving her money, and we've got to get her some education. So tell me where we are at this point in your career with flight.
Well, I went to college, Emmanuel College in Boston, to study math, and I took all my friends flying.
Okay.
But I still didn't know exactly what I would want to do in aviation, but I knew I should keep studying math.
Okay.
So I went to graduate school at MIT to study math.
Really?
And and I worked there full time, which is a great way to go to graduate school, to work
your way through, sort of.
And I discovered the glider club, and I thought I would join the glider club because it might be an inexpensive way to fly.
Yeah.
And so I joined it, and I became a tow pilot, and I became a flight instructor, and I had a lot of fun.
Oh, it sounds fun. But
the important thing
was
that the people in the club were in the aero engineering department, and at that point in time, I didn't even know what engineering was. And
you were a math major, you weren't an engineering major.
I didn't know what engineers did. I just thought they drove trains. I didn't know.
I love it. I thought they drove trains too. But
so
that's
amazing.
I
transferred both my job and my studies to the aero department
of
MIT.
MIT. Okay. So you've got a master's there at MIT?
Yeah.
Okay.
I spent 6 years getting a master's because
well, you were
I was
working and flying and doing all that fun stuff. So you joined the glider club. You said you were a tow pilot. So what is...
You have to get the sailplane up into the air, and you can do it either by towing it with an airplane, or you can use ground tow, either an automobile or a winch.
Really?
But I still couldn't drive, so I couldn't do that.
That's
So-
amazing. You could pull it with a plane, but you still couldn't drive.
So I could fly the tow plane, and I became an instructor, and I would give them instruction in flight. So it was a lot of fun.
You were instructing in a motorized craft?
No,
No,
the
in
sailplane.
a sailplane.
The sailplane.
Okay.
The other club members.
Okay. So you taught them what to do, then you got in your plane and pulled them up in the air and they
Well,
went and
that
did-
would be at separate times. Sometimes I would instruct, and sometimes I would be a tow pilot.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like... Did you enjoy that?
Oh, yeah.
Seemed like a lot of fun. But now you've got your master's, you've got your pilot's license, you're involved in sailplanes. What's your next step?
I moved to California because that's where the good sailplane flying is.
Aha. Was it this area of California that you moved to?
Santa Monica.
Oh, okay. Wow, they had area down there that you could...
I worked for Douglas
Okay.
when it was in Santa Monica.
You worked for
It's,
Douglas as an engineer then?
Yeah, when it was still there. It's not there
Yeah,
anymore.
it was huge down there. Even when I lived down there 25 years ago,
Yeah.
it was big. But they've all shut down, I think. The land became too valuable, I think,
Yeah.
where they had that. So, but you also were involved with NASA, weren't you? Sometime
After
there?
I was at Douglas for 4 or 5 years, something like that, I switched to Edwards, and I worked there for NASA.
Okay, so you came up this far. You got to Edwards.
I was getting closer to the really good soaring.
All right. See, Ridgecrest has the really good stuff. I told you guys, this is a
does.
great place.
It's the best in the
So,
world.
how long were you there at Edwards?
7 years.
Okay. And you tried out the air up here? You decided what to do to get up here? Or?
Well, I didn't think of it right away, but I had been trained in very theoretical work, and what I was doing down there was a lot of fun,
Mm-hmm.
but it was practical. It was flight test, and it was wind tunnel testing, and there was some analysis also, but I thought if I came here I would have more theoretical work, and it did work out that way.
And you prefer the theoretical as opposed to
Yeah.
the physical wind tunnel stuff?
Well, that was fun too, especially there was one that was a full-scale wind tunnel, and you could walk around in it.
Really? Did you get in a plane in that, or?
Well, that's where we put the aircraft that we were working on to learn what their characteristics were.
Wow. And what was that type of aircraft? Was
Well, the particular ones that I worked on were the lifting body project. The pilots, when they come back from space, they really don't want to come back in a capsule, although they're so
No,
good.
they don't like that, landing in the water so much, do they?
Yeah, they don't like that. They would prefer to fly back, and that's what you can do with a lifting body. It has enough lift that it can be safely landed.
That's remarkable. So you figured that out, but now the shuttles that we see today have some wings or something. The lifting body, does it have wings on it?
No, it had control surfaces, but it doesn't have wings, but the body itself gives lift. However, when people look at it, they think, who could possibly safely land that? So that's what we had to prove.
I
And we
see.
did prove that it could be done.
It looked like a tube or something, kind of.
Well, the first one, they called it a flying bathtub.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty remarkable. Flying bathtub. I love it. But, so you did all that testing on that, and you enjoyed working on that, and then you decided to move, or did you get an opportunity to move on, or what?
Well, I didn't know China Lake existed at the time.
I have this shirt that says where the heck, except doesn't say
Yeah.
heck, is China Lake. You must have needed one of those.
But I had a friend who had come here,
Oh.
and he said it was a great place to work, and I believe that is true. I certainly
I think
enjoyed
it still
myself
is
here.
today.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I came here and I went to work here,
Where did you work here?
aerodynamics branch,
Okay. Were you government or contractor?
government.
Government. Okay. And then did you start sailing or sailplanes up in this area? Or?
Well, I've been doing it straight along. When I moved to California first, I ordered a sailplane kit to be delivered in California, and that's where I built it in a friend's garage in Santa Monica.
We're going to talk about that in just a little bit when we come back from this other break. But you built your own sailplane then?
Yeah.
That is so
but
cool.
But then when I came here, I still had that one, but eventually I bought a more modern one. Had a good time with that.
And you had yourself a motorized plane also?
When I moved here, it was so inexpensive to live on base that I could buy an airplane. After I'd been here 2 years, I was able to buy an airplane.
Oh, that's exciting.
A small one, but it was fun.
And then we have to talk about some of the places you were able to fly and go to and see and do and whatever. But we're going to have to talk about that when we get back, because we've got to go on break here again in a minute. There's just so much. We just get started and then we have to go away. But she had two different motorized planes. We're out of here. We'll be back in just a bit.
I only had
We are back, and you're back with Lois and Bertha. And we got Bertha down to Edwards, and she's flying, and now she's got this kit to make her own sailplane. And was that at Edwards, or you said it was?
No, that was when I was
still in Santa
Douglas,
Monica.
Yes.
Oh, at Douglas.
Santa Monica.
Okay.
Douglas and Santa Monica. Which
So
is
tell me about
no
that.
longer
You've got a desire to make your own plane. What a treat.
Well, I was just out of school. I couldn't afford anything.
I couldn't buy
else.
one.
I still had college debts, as everybody does these days, too.
It's the name of the game, I think, with college. Took me a while to get mine done, too. So you wanted a plane of your own. The only way to do it was build it.
A sailplane, yeah.
Wow. So you get this kit, and then you have to have a place to do it. So where did you build this?
A friend's garage at first.
Oh, for heaven's sake, like Sidewinder, where they start in the garage. You started with planes in the garage. And how do you start with a plane? I mean, you get the kit, it's got, what's it made of?
Well, there was aluminum and wooden ribs I would have to make, and then I had to put the fabric on it. It was fabric covered.
Okay. And you had to do all the different paints, like your numbers and all that stuff on
Yes,
it too,
I
and everything?
painted it white because that's better for the hot sun, you know, to have something be white. And the fabric would last longer if it was painted white also.
So did you fly it a lot there in Santa Monica?
I didn't fly it in Santa Monica. There's no good soaring down there.
I was thinking that.
In the desert.
Okay.
So I went to a place called El Mirage, and I flew there. And what you usually do when you fly something that hasn't flown before, you usually take a car tow first to see if it's okay, and then you take, which is just low altitude, and then you go higher with an airplane tow. Well, I started out on this car tow, and I smelled smoke. And I thought,
on your new airplane.
There couldn't be anything wrong with this airplane. And I figured out that it had to be that I spilled paint on the wheels.
Oh, so when they started out, they...
Yeah, so I kept going, and it flew beautifully.
Great. Oh, that must have been a trip to fly in the plane that you actually built.
There's really a tremendous thrill to fly an aircraft that you built yourself.
I can imagine.
If you designed it yourself, that would be even better, but at least if you build it, it's a big thrill.
And with the car tow, they just pull you fast enough to where you get the air under the wings and you can feel?
Well, that's what we did at first. Just stay low and tow it on a long runway. And then I took an aero tow and went up, and it flew beautifully.
Okay, so who lets go? Do you let go as the pilot? Okay, so you know when you've got air that you can cut the cord or whatever you do to let it go. And then you get the FDRS and just go on. That is amazing.
That's why it's so good here, because we have lots of updrafts, especially with the mountains. They set off the thermals. You've probably seen dust devils.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, they're
Those
great,
are good things?
They're great thermals. Yeah.
I hate them because they get dust all over my house. But they're good for your thrills. So you like those then?
Yes.
I would think that would be scary for a plane. I know nothing about flying, obviously, you can tell. But that's just amazing. So then how long did you have that plane that you built?
Oh, gee, 60, maybe 20 years, because I had a 21st birthday party for it.
For your plane. I love it. That's great. Did you get to go flying with it?
And then in something like 1977 or 78, I bought a higher performance one.
Okay.
It's designed from Finland.
Oh,
called
wow.
an Iriabion Pic 20B.
Oh, sure. I would have known that. No. That's neat, though.
And
you said it was a little more high performance?
Yeah. The one I built was a Schweitzer 126A, and it had a glide ratio of 20 to 1. You can go forward 20 feet for every foot you come down. But this Iriabion Pic had a glide ratio of 40. You could go 40 feet ahead for every foot you descended in still air.
Did it make a difference how fast you went when you started, or it didn't mean speed going on your pull?
It meant you could do more with it.
Okay.
You could make better flights.
So, but you didn't carry that thing around like in a suitcase. You had to have it. How did you bring it with you? How did you move it?
With sailplanes, it's normal to assemble them to fly and to keep them disassembled in the trailer.
You have a trailer for it?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you go where you want to be and you assemble it. And if you go someplace and you land out, then you your friend comes and gets you.
Got a buddy system. I went to flew balloons I didn't fly them. I rode in them when it was in Albuquerque.
Oh, great.
And that was fun because we went way out and then we couldn't get back because the air didn't bring us back. Somebody had to come save us. So it's a good thing you had a buddy.
Yeah.
So we're down to about 2 minutes, if you can believe it. Is there anything that we've missed on the sailplane part? I know you worked on it for a long time. Then you moved it to Edwards. Then you moved it here.
Yes.
Okay.
I moved here, so it came with me.
It came with you. It was part of the bag of baggage that came with you. So, do you have it still?
No, I have sold both my sailplanes and my airplane.
So you're not flying right now?
No, I haven't been.
Oh, my gee.
I hope to rent, but...
well, that'd be fun. Is there something you can rent? Can you rent sailplanes?
Yeah. There are places you can rent sailplanes.
Here, locally?
Tehachapi.
Really?
And they have some here.
Oh, how fun. Can take more than one person?
Some of them carry two.
I know that once my husband was in college and he did some math work for one of his instructors who had a sailplane. It was kind of exciting. So Bertha also flew back and forth from here to a museum in Boston where she was interviewing people that were in soaring clubs. So she's done it from the get-go up to now. And when did you say you got to Ridgecrest? 70s something?
1967.
67. Oh, okay. Beat me by about 20 years. So it's just remarkable to me that you can do all this and you still do it. It's so fun. We're just about to run out of time. Is there anything special that you need to say that I haven't asked you?
Well, I should say that flying sailplanes are especially fun for engineers because there's so much involved with understanding the airplane and understanding the weather and this sort of thing. So
okay, engineers, if you want to have a fun thing, you can do sailplaning. I thank you so much for being with me. This is just so exciting to me because I always wanted to know about flying, but I don't know that much about it. And of course, it's all around us here at Ridgecrest.
Yes, it's a good place.
So thank you so much, and we will be back next week, and thanks for being with me. I appreciate it.